Big tech leaders are taking to social media, of course, to congratulate Donald Trump. This is typical. Let's just start off with that. Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, and Sam Altman wished Trump well. I thought they were pretty anodyne. So did Mark Cuban. He was like, Godspeed. You know what I mean? He was like, you won fair and square, which I thought was fair. I thought that was classy of him to do so. He didn't like slavishly say something. The person who did, Jeff Bezos, was quite different from the others. He was on the first to kiss the ring, calling Trump's win an extraordinary political comeback and decisive victory. It did not have a tone of someone who owns the Washington Post. He's the only one who actually has another thing he's got to think about, which he didn't at all in any way. So I thought that was problematic. And it was much more effusive than the others. They all want to work with this administration. They've done it before. They don't want to be in his crosshairs, and they'd like to get rid of all the different investigations and things like that. Although a lot of Republicans like these investigations very much, and so that's a really interesting pushback. Talk a little bit about these CEOs. Obviously, you saw more than anyone, tech CEOs weighed in.
They're smart to do it, Kara. He responds to this type of obsequious flattery, and if they're focused on their shareholders, they're smart to do it. And you kind of have to, you throw up a little bit in your mouth when it's more than anything than just a polite congratulations. But if you reverse engineer it to shareholder value, they're smart to do it. Just a lot of foreign leaders pretend that he's really interesting and that they're fascinated with him. And he's going to get more. When you're courting someone and they tell you that they're really into jewelry or baseball trading cards and that they will like you if you buy them these things, you buy them these things. And he's made it clear that if you say nice things about him, it works. So I think they're smart to do it.
Yeah, I agree, but I thought Bezos was a little bit abusive. If you could put them next to each other, it's really quite a different tone. And he does also own the Washington Post. He might have been a little less.
It's all about money. The Washington Post is nothing but
I understand
nothing but a
that,
nuisance for him right now.
He shouldn't own it then. He shouldn't own it then.
Okay.
Stop owning something where you have to.
We're talking about should versus is. Jeff Bezos is all about money.
He already did that already with the dumping the endorsement. So I just felt like he should have maybe been a little less kiss-assy. Anything about the Peter Thiel factor? I think he's the quiet one here. Musk gets all the... We're going to talk about Elon in a second, but I think Peter Thiel is the real mastermind here in so many ways. And I know people... I thought he clocked Trump early and was in there at the last election. I think he clocked Vance. I think he's been quiet. He doesn't need all the attention the way Musk does. I think he's far smarter than Elon Musk in many ways. And I think all roads lead to Peter Thiel in this regard, even though it seemed like he was out of the election, right? But I feel like every one of his tenets is present here.
You first highlighted this to me, and it struck me as something I just hadn't thought about it. I hadn't connected the dots the way you had, and I've thought about it more and more. And I think what you're saying makes sense because, I mean, here's the scary thing with Trump's age and body mass index. There's about a 1 in 3 chance he leaves the White House feet first. In 4 years and 2 months, an obese, 78-year-old man, it would be very hard to get life insurance. And that puts a guy in the White House who will never utter one word to Peter Thiel, and that word is no. He owes everything to Peter Thiel. That's how he got to be a senator. That's how he got the VP spot. And so if Peter Thiel calls him and says, I need you to do this tax or put a tariff here or deregulate this or create a floating island where billionaires don't have to pay tax or we totally ban the following activities or so, Vance, if he can, will do it. I just don't think Vance could ever say no to Peter. He is where he is. He is one heartbeat from the presidency not because of an impressive business career, not because he's a great politician, because of Peter Thiel.
Yep. That's the one to watch. And even though Elon, as usual, the circus clown, likes to take all the attention, as Bloomberg put it, Elon is about to find out what $130 million for Trump gets him. We mentioned the Tesla stock surge. That's added $26 billion to his net worth, but Elon stands to benefit in a number of other ways, including government efficiency commission role, EV and autonomous driving policies that benefit Tesla, and more government contracts for SpaceX. Trump has previously pledged his support for Elon's goal of sending a rocket to Mars. That one I don't mind so much. I honestly don't. And as I mentioned, I think Elon merges X with Truth Social. So I also think they're going to have a falling out. I really feel like this is coming. If I had to make any one prediction, I feel like Peter is very quiet in the background and gets exactly what he wants. Elon can't help himself, and neither can Trump, and Trump's the president. So, thoughts?
Well, look, this arguably you could say that Musk's $119 million in donations to Trump were one of the best investments that's ever been made. He made it over approximately 3 or 6 months, and in exchange, his net worth has gone up $15 billion just from his Tesla shares, which skyrocketed on news that Trump was retaking the White House. So if someone said to any billionaire or any institution or any hedge fund, here's $119 million. If you give us $119 million, we think if the markets are right, there's a 2/3 chance you're going to get $15 billion back.
Yep.
So you got to give it to the guy.
The whole time. Yeah.
Best investment of the year was Musk's his $119 million investment in the Trump campaign.
Yeah, because he was if she had won, he was never going to get that dinged for it. Also,
no.
So
yeah, that's exactly right. $15 billion on $119 million. That's the best trade of 2024.
Yeah. So what's going to happen next now?
Well, so I need to disclose. We talked about this. I was planning, under see above, got it wrong. I thought Polymarket, the gambling site, which had it was 40/60.
It's owned by Peter Thiel, FYI, or is invested in by Peter Thiel.
I didn't know that. So 40/60 Harris to Trump's likelihood of being elected. So you were going to get 2.5 to 1. I saw that as asymmetric upside because I thought it was a coin flip, according to the polls that I saw. So I was going to take $400,000 and put it on Harris, thinking I could get $1 million back. And I want to be clear for people listening: this is not investing. This is gambling, and I can afford to lose that, and it would ruin maybe an afternoon, but it wouldn't have any impact on my life. And I don't want to in any way tell people that they should be doing this. So, but I was planning to do it. So I went to the site, signed up for it, wait till Harris went down to 38, then up to 42. And the site said, you can't be a U.S. citizen. And then it said, you can't transfer money in from the U.K. So I could not figure out how to get one of these betting sites up. So I went to a different strategy. I decided I did a collared call strategy on Donald Trump media. And that is, I thought, if he loses, the stock goes below 10. If he wins, it could skyrocket. But I also thought if he wins, this is no longer a prediction vessel. It's just a shitty company. And I actually thought there's a chance it might go down even if he wins. So I sold calls at $20 a share, way, way into the money, thinking this thing could crash. There's a good likelihood it could crash. But I was worried, well, what if something fucking crazy happens and it goes to 400 and I owe someone $8 million who I sold these calls to? So I bought calls way out of the money at 60. I got $20 in premium for buying or selling calls at 20. I got $6. It cost me $6 to buy calls at 60. So my downside was limited to like $2.5 million. My upside capped at $1.5 million. And what's happened is he won. The stock spiked. I'm like, oh fuck, bad day for Scott. But since then, the strategy around it's no longer a tracking stock, it's just a shitty company now. It's come down. I think it opened at about $31 today.
Yeah, it's gone down.
So I got very lucky. It's better to be lucky than good. I was going to make a straight wager on Harris and couldn't because I'm in the UK and I'm impatient with websites.
You can't use it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So this kind of, I think it's called a collared call strategy so far is working out because Donald Trump media, I think people are waking up and going, okay, now what? This is a shitty little company that's no longer a prediction machine or a gambling. It's basically shares or ownership in a company that has no revenues but is hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, interesting. We'll wait and see for you. But anyway, Peter Thiel has, along with the founder of Ethereum, raised money for Polymarket earlier this year. Just so you know, he's involved in that one too. It's interesting times. But Musk and Trump falling out. Real quick thought, then we'll go on.
You know more about this than I do, Kara. It's an interesting theory. Why do you think?
Because there was a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme where the future and the past person could never come together. It was called Time Cop. I recommend it to everybody. And you couldn't ever be in the same room with your future self and your present self. or your past self, whatever, because it would blow up. The world can't take that in the same place. And at the very end, the villain gets them to get in a room together, and then everything breaks loose and they blow up, essentially. I don't quite understand it, whatever. I think these people can't coexist together in the same room for too long. That's my sense. Maybe I'll be completely wrong, but I feel like that Trump likes the attention and Elon likes the attention, and there's only so much attention to go around. And remember when Bannon got kicked out when he got all the attention as being the puppet master of Trump? And then Bannon I know he didn't get totally kicked to the curb. He kept getting brought back, but kicked to the curb and brought back. He kicked Bannon to the curb very early. We forget this in the Trump administration because he sucked up all the oxygen. So Elon might be very smart to not suck up all the oxygen.